Welcome,
Good evening,
welcome.
everyone.
Good evening, Israel. Hello, Soli. Hi, Mariam. This is so exciting.
Hmm. How do you feel, Gabby?
I'm all
Yeah.
right.
We will wait just 2 more minutes.
Of course.
Might be some delays, and we'll start.
Excellent.
Are showing up. Oh, people are
Hello from
here from
Armenia.
Armenia.
How
Wow.
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Emma.
And hello, Emma. I did see some country codes that I didn't recognize, so probably Armenia was one of them.
Oh, hey, Armenia. How exciting.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
If
I'm about to cry. I'm so excited. Armenia, Armenia, Armenia.
If I can ask, please, anyone who can open the camera so we can see you, so it feels a bit more human-like connection. Um, if you don't feel, I don't know, comfortable with it, I can understand. But if you do, please share with us.
And tell us where you're from. I see Armenia is winning, friends. Hello from Israel. Let's see where else we've got. We've got UAE signed up today. Let's see where we're all
Yes.
from. Armenia. Wow.
Hmm. So 1 more minute, we're gonna start. I don't want to delay it too much.
Thank you, Fenya. Dubai.
Mm. Yes. Thank you, Hagit, for sharing the video.
I'm just looking a second if people are asking for sometimes last minute people say, oh, I don't have the code, I can't log in.
Yeah, let's give it 30 more seconds.
Excellent. We definitely want to
Uh,
respect everyone's time.
yes. Mhm.
Wow, Dubai, Armenia, and Israel. All right. I'm excited.
I can't enter the webinar. Uh, send it again here.
Hi, Hagit. Nice to see your face. Hi. Hi, Soli.
Okay.
I see iPhone 14. Hi, nice to see
Yeah.
you.
So let me start. I don't want to postpone our start too much. Thank you guys for coming in. I'll do some. I'll present to you what's about to happen and who we are and why we do that. Hopefully that anyone who's going to join us will join us soon. Please, if you can, I'll just write it, say it now. Write your name in the chat so we know who was here. If you leave early or something, it will make our lives much easier. So just a second, let me start. Um, in the meanwhile, while you can write your names. Good evening, everyone. Let's be a bit formal, and thank you for joining us. We're very happy to be here together with you guys to learn, to develop, and to receive tools that will help you succeed in the classroom. My name is Israel Peter Wall. I have a master's degree in business administration. I used to be an English teacher for a few years, also a data analyst and a project manager. But today I'm a strategic manager and business development here with Gabby. I come from the world of education and high tech, and this combination allows me to bring a broad perspective on teaching and learning. Before we begin, it's important for me to clarify something. Our goal here in this webinar and the rest of the series is to give you real tools of success. This webinar is not intended to sell you anything. So you can rest assured that we're not going to push anything during this session. When you succeed and improve and improve your experience as a teacher, we believe you would want to hear from us more. So this is the way to give you and to give us as well. Anyone who wants to contact us can do so copying the links that I'm going to share with you on the chat later this evening. But tonight, of course, the focus is on you and what will help you succeed. We also have a different WhatsApp groups that offer different content, such as free games, materials, tips, and more. So you can join that too. Also will be posted on the chat. Now, I'm happy to introduce the heart and soul of our program, Gabi herself, Gabi Klaf. She's happily married and proud mother of 3. Gabi's journey is truly inspiring, and I'll give you a taste. She migrated from the US to Israel at the age of 30, and when she was 40, she and her family wanted to take a trip around the world, and this trip lasted for 3.5 years. Much of her methodologies were born at this experience. Gabi has a bachelor degree in health education and a master's in psychology, and she's also a certified coach with 30 years of experience. She has developed methods that combine effective learning with an emphasis on mental and physical well-being, experience in developing teaching programs, English teaching methods, and parent guidance. Her program reaches over 10 million users worldwide and is present in more than 440 educational institutions in Israel alone. But Gabi is not just an educator. She also lectures around the world. She was present in a GEMS conference in Dubai last November. And she developed curriculum and educational institution and more. In time of need, she volunteered to give over 1,000 free consultation to teachers, and her program was recognized by the Ministry of Education. She also recently, very recently, finished a formal 3rd grade English textbook that will be launched in the coming year. Tonight's webinar is part of a series of lectures aimed to inspire teachers and support our community. And this is something we strongly believe in. We are here to give you practical tools that will improve teaching, increase student engagement, and lead to success in the classroom. Gabi believes that every person can reach their maximum potential, and her work is based on behavioral psychology. Tonight, we will focus on classroom success as promised, how you can upgrade your teaching methods, create more meaningful learning experience, and more. And before we begin, we have an announcement for you. Tomorrow, we will send you all the recording of the webinar so you can review the material and use them in your classroom, and also share it if you like it and think it should be shared. And another thing, at the end of the webinar, we'll give the participants 2 weeks of free access to our teachers section. Of course, anyone who was or she was last time already got this one, so all the new ones will get free access. If you have any questions, please write it down in the chat. I'll make sure to read it when we get the time. Emma will help us in this as well. So let's begin. Gabi.
So thank you very much for the introduction. I'm so excited to have you. And I must say, Natalia, you just said it's heartwarming to be part of such a diverse international community, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think as educators, I think also almost all of us, if not all of us, are English teachers. So we have a joint language we all understand the same language and the nuances and trying to help our students reach their best. In Israel, where we are currently, it's an EFL language. English is a foreign language. The kids usually don't have exposure. If they go out in the streets, they're not going to be able to hear Hebrew or talk to the bus driver in English. They probably don't have access to English. I don't know if Armenia is the same. Dubai is a little different. Dubai is English as a second language, maybe even a first language, because most of the institutions there start teaching English from the beginning. Natalia. So thank you so much for saying that. I'm really excited to be a part of this. And again, Armenia, Dubai, Israel, welcome to everyone. The point of this webinar series is to give you tools to help you succeed. And it's really important for me that you don't just walk away with insights and say, oh, wow, that's a great concept. Oh, I heard that once before. I don't want you just to have insights. I want you to have results. So I strongly recommend you be as engaged as you can be. If you're cooking or driving or doing something else, try to be here as much as possible. I suggest you take notes. As the more you're involved, the more you put questions in the chat, the more you're here, the more you'll get from it, and the more you'll remember from our evening together. So that's the first thing I want to recommend. I made a very small presentation just to keep us focused because I want it to be a process of growth and not just insights. I wanted to review some of the points that I thought were most important from the first session. Some of you weren't at the first session. Soli, you were there. Chagit, I think you were there as well. So some of you are continuing with us. Some of you are new. So I'm going to go back to the first session, just talk about a few of the points that I think are really important for you to know. And then we'll go on from there. I also wanted to do a quick shout out to Emma from our staff. Thank you so much for being here. Emma's a huge part of our success, a lot of behind the scenes things, a lot of reach out. So those of you who ended up here tonight probably found out about us through Emma and her hard work online. So Emma, thank you for all that you do. I'm going to share screen. Just so you'll know, I'm very ADHD, so I won't be reading your comments at all. Israel and Emma will be doing that, and anything I need
I'll
to
be
know, they'll
doing.
let me know. Okay, so I wanted to just give you a few points from last time, so that you can sort of be up to
Gabi,
date.
can you put it on a large screen? Yeah, on
Yes,
the right. Yes,
absolutely.
please.
Let me go to the beginning. Hold on. My computer is deciding that it doesn't want to listen to me. Give me 1 second, friends. Come on. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's large. No, it's still not what I wanted. 1 second. I don't know why it's not listening
If
to
it's a
me.
problem, just leave it as a small. Yeah.
And no, it should 1 second. I'm so sorry. Let me see what happened here. Oh, here it is. Okay. Great. All right. So I wanted to start by giving a little bit of information from last time that I think was really significant so that we are all on the same page. I see that my presentation just sort of did whatever it wanted. So I'll jump around a second. The conference in Dubai, I put some pictures so you can see how wonderful the conference in Dubai was. And one of the big things that we did there was discuss community and how as educators and teachers we can give our students the best. And from that meeting in Dubai, from that conference and all of that wonderful community we built there, we decided to do this webinar training. So I wanted you just to get a background where it's from. Okay, so session number 1, I want to give you a quick review of some of the things that I think are really important for us to know as we move forward, so we'll have the best tools possible. The first session really focused on cooperation and single-mindedness. We talked about SMART goals. If you can set goals for your classroom, that you don't want to say, I want to do better, I want to teach English. You want SMART goals. You want them to be, and the letters are specific, measurable. You want them to be achievable, relevant, and time bound. So you don't want to say, I want to teach well. You want to say, I want to go for 10 minutes without being interrupted. I want to finish 3 pages of the workbook by the end of the week. I want to have half of the kids raise their hands in class. You really want to define for yourself what would be success for you in your classroom. Everyone has different situations they're dealing with in their classroom environment. Define your goals and make a chart and notice that they happen. A lot of times when people try to say, I'm going to lose 10 kilo, and then they don't see it. But if you mark the little things, I made a food journal, I walked this today, I did this tiny thing, you can start seeing measurable steps toward your goal. In behavioral psychology, the easiest way to describe it is shaping. If I want to get someone who is scared of dogs to own a dog, we're going to do shaping. Shaping means what's the smallest possible step I can do to help someone reach their goal. So it's really important for me that you guys sit down with yourselves and say, okay, what do I need? What do I want? What can I do to improve my results as a classroom teacher? Make SMART goals, very specific, and then sit down. Give yourself a time every Monday at 8 p.m. I'll sit down and look where I am. I'll mark it. I'll have a chart in the classroom. Anything you can do to make it also visual and to make it something you can measure. Another thing that's really important for us to realize is the insight explosion, constant overstimulation of today's world. We all have, it's also down here, inborn overwhelm, anxiety because of instant gratification and phones. We have kids today in elementary school and kindergarten already with phones. We have kids that have access to everything all the time, and it's making all of us overwhelmed, anxiety prone, fearful, and overstimulated. And it makes it really hard for teachers to be able to teach. Teaching 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago was significantly easier than it is to teach today. All of the kids, all of us, just we don't have it. We don't have, now. I'm bored. For a kid, that's the worst thing. I'm bored. Give me something to do, and we end up becoming sort of like clowns in the circus. We feel like as classroom teachers, we have to entertain our students and keep them busy and keep them engaged, and they're not, because they have access on their phones or on their computers or at home to games and things that are much more fun that tell them instantly, yay, 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 yay. So it's really hard for us to go through a learning process. And I wanted to take a minute to sort of explain what's the importance of going through learning processes and what we can do in our classrooms to sort of help the kids calm down a little bit from the overstimulation. Because if I'm overstimulated, you can't teach me anything. If I'm emotionally overstimulated, or if I'm just overstimulated as my new preset, you really can't teach me much. So we talked last time about the idea of a book. So kids today, they don't read like they used to. And when we used to read a book, it was a single-minded focus. So we're training the mind to follow one successive step after another. And when we read, for example, we enter a story, there's scenery, there's a country, there's characters, there's a plot development, there's relationships. And then when I finish reading the book, or even if I finish watching the movie, at the end, I can stop and say, what have I learned? What have I gained? What did the hero go through? The traits that the hero brought? What did we learn from this process? And I put here, so you'll have it, the vagus nerve, it's stimulated when we do one thing. But when I do 6 things at the same time, it's not. So if I can do one thing, if I ride a bike, work in the garden, write in my notebook, anything that I do that's single focused, it trains the mind to turn on the calming systems, and it brings me mental clarity. So one of the things that we want to do in our classrooms is realize that today the kids get this. You see my hand? Bah, 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 bah. I can scroll on the internet for 2 hours, and I saw a lot of kittens and a lot of whatever I saw in my feed. But after 2 hours, if I ask you, what did you learn, Gabi? I don't know. What do you remember? Probably nothing, because it's just dopamine being screamed at me. I'm not going through a process. So what we want to recognize is that, and we want to help our students have single-minded activities in class. So sometimes I tell teachers the smartest thing you can do is have your kids have a piece of paper next to them and let them doodle and draw during class. Because if their mind is all busy, they're going to talk to their friend, they're going to do this, they're going to do this. But if you can give them a piece of paper and say, so long as this doesn't disturb class, you are free to draw, doodle, do whatever you want in this paper. So it'll clear your mind so that you can focus on what I'm saying. One of my hardest classes in my master's degree was called brain and behavior. And we analyzed every part of the brain and what it does. And it was all about neurons and synapses and the chemistry of the brain. It was really hard for me. So I would draw pictures of the brain the whole period. And I didn't look at the teacher. It was too much hard. I was overstimulated. But when I was drawing, I was able to ask him the best questions. And I was like, it was sort of like a meditation for me. It allowed me to stop the chatter and the ADHD so that I could hear what my teacher had to say. So a lot of times I tell teachers, give the kids something to do to put their energy in that's not going to distract your class. A piece of paper is a wonderful tip. A piece of paper they can just write on. Some teachers give kids little squishy balls. I don't like squishy balls because they drop and then teacher, my squishy ball is there. And then boys start hitting each other. But maybe even like a piece of Play-Doh that kids can just do this in class. It doesn't make a mess. It doesn't go anywhere. It gives them something to do. If I'm angry, if I'm sad, I can do this and I can take it out on the Play-Doh. We really want to try to help our kids focus. Okay. It's really hard today for kids to focus, which makes our job a lot harder. The last thing I want to talk about from the first session was we talked about student responsibility. At every age, children can choose to participate in class or not to participate in class. Now, every one of the kids that enter our classroom is a whole world. I always like to quote Rumi, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. So, you are the whole ocean in one little drop. Every child is a universe. Every child has his disappointments, has his home situation, financial situation. His parents are fighting. His sister doesn't love him. Whatever is going on at home, I'm popular, I'm not, I'm smart, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm whatever. I can do it. I love myself. I don't. Every single child in your classroom has a whole world of things he's dealing with. And our job is to try to help him choose to want to learn. And we'll talk about more how to do that. But one of the teachers that we spoke to had said to me, I sit down with my class and I say, listen, I get my salary either way. I get paid at the end of the month if you learn or you don't. Decide, do you want to learn? I'm here. You don't want to learn? That's fine. I'll get paid either way. And I thought that was a really brave thing to say to a student. Say, listen, I'm doing my job. I want you to learn. Will you take responsibility? Will you become a partner with me so I can help you get to the highest results you can? So that's sort of from session one. I wanted to give you a little bit of the background so that you'll all be able to continue this learning process with us. Israel, do I continue or do you want to tell me anything?
No, you keep on going.
All right, continuing. So today's session, we're going to look at how to stop classroom chaos. And we're pretty much looking at three main points. We're going to look at empowerment, motivation, and project focus. I'm not 100% sure that we'll reach the project focus part. If not, we'll move it to the next webinar, but we're definitely going to talk about empowerment and the keys to motivation. Okay. I think this PowerPoint maybe helps focus us a tiny bit. So in terms of empowerment, we want to look at two kinds of empowerment that are always going on, and we need to decide how to reach both of them and which one to focus on. There's student empowerment and there's classroom empowerment. Okay, again, each student is his whole world. He's got all of these wonderful things going on. Each student has different attributes, different strengths. And I think it's always a really good idea to focus on understanding who are my students. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the next topic of motivation, but let's look at it here. Every psychological process, every coaching process begins with intake. Who are you? What are you like? What do you like? What do you not like? It's really important that we get to know our students at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, wherever we are. This is the time to get to know your students. So I really recommend, if they're able to read and write, depends on the age of your students, you can give them a short survey. What are your favorite things? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? Does it motivate you if if I give you attention in class, or do you not like getting attention in class? Some students really would love a chocolate bar. Some kids would love a sticker. Some kids would like you to not bring attention to them because that's awful. Just find out what makes them tick, what excites them. Even something small. When I find out that David's favorite color is blue. If I'm dividing the kids into groups, I'll be sure to put David in blue. If we're doing something today that's related to a dog, and I know that Mariam has a dog, I might say, Mariam, tell us your dog's name. I might do something that helps Mariam know that I see her. I'll skip ahead a second. That's here. Namaste. Namaste is the basic need we need to meet in our children. Namaste means I see you. I see you. That's all Namaste means. Some of the most powerful therapy sessions I've ever given to parents and educators, I was pretty much quiet the whole time. They just talked and I listened. I see you means I'm paying attention to you. I see you, I hear you, and that is one of the most important things we can give our students. So if you can figure out who they are, what motivates them, what they like, do a survey. That's awesome. Another thing that I do in the intake, sometimes we have classes where the kids are too young. They can't read, they can't write. I'm not going to spend the whole class time trying to interview a class of 25 to 35 students. So I give the kids a piece of paper, they draw an emoji. Smiley emoji, sad emoji, neutral emoji. And then I can look at it later. If I get pieces of paper, everyone's smiling, great. And I get one student that says, Maxim, and it has a frown on it, maybe I'll call Maxim later. Maybe I'll call his mom and say, hey, is everything okay? Maxim was upset today. So it's important in terms of empowerment that I recognize my student. Okay, another thing, when I talked about the mentoring partnerships, I'm talking about recognize that I might be really good at math and you might be really good at English. I might be really good at dancing or swimming and you might be really good at baking food. So I want to recognize that the kids in my class, like in our English program, the one that we sell, we have differentiated learning. So we have different levels. You might have 3 different levels of learning going on in the same classroom, but that's not a reason to have any shame. Sometimes kids feel ashamed that they're not at the level of their friend. So when we start mentoring programs, we can help kids by pairing them up, giving kids that are stronger a partner that's weaker, and they can work together. And then what happens is what a lot of teachers tell us happens in the classroom is I can't teach the class. There are too many levels. There's too many gaps in the levels. But when you do a mentoring partnership program, you can. You take the stronger students, put them with the weaker ones in stations. I put here stations, and then they can help them. And then you pretty much have a one-on-one tutoring program going on in your classroom, which is an amazing thing. The weaker student gets attention one-on-one, and the stronger student feels proud of himself and can help. Another thing that we're finding, I'm not sure, I'd love to hear in Armenia and Dubai, but we're finding that the kids in Israel in 6th grade, right before they go into the middle school with all the hormones and everything going on, that's impossible to teach them. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The 6th grade classrooms, like every school reports to us, are very, very, very challenging. So what we started to do in some of the 6th grade classrooms is mentoring partnerships. Instead of trying to control a class of 35 kids and teach them material that it's not working, we divide the class in half. The teacher works with half of the students, and the other half go mentor the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd graders. So it's working beautifully well. The kids that are disturbing and aren't able to concentrate because there's too much going on in the classroom, not only their hormones, but the different levels, then I have a small group that I teach. A small group does the mentoring program. They have a sense of contribution. They have a sense of responsibility, and they have people who look up to them, because even if I'm the weakest student in the 6th grade class, for a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd grader, I'm God. So it helps everyone feel good about themselves. Another thing that's really important, so that's for the student empowerment. Now, what we really want to do is create a class ID. If we create a class ID, then we help the kids understand it's not me versus the other classmates who can get more attention from the teacher. It's as a class, we have goals, We talked about the SMART goals in the beginning. As a class, we have goals. As the class, we want to reach those goals because we have a sense of identity. As a class, we have a sense of pride, and maybe we have some prizes. So you might tell your students, listen, class, if we can reach textbook page number 12 by Friday, then we'll do a party. Then we'll do 10 minutes of music in English. Then we'll play board games in English. If we can all get our homework turned in on Wednesday, the whole class will be rewarded with something. And then what happens if I want to get the class ID and I notice that the student next to me didn't do their homework or didn't reach whatever goal the teacher set, I'm going to run and help my classmate because we're all dependent on each other. Okay, here in Israel, in the Israeli army, when they train the combat soldiers, they always say you don't reach a goal until the weakest link arrived also, until the weakest, slowest runner, until the person who can't carry their gear is here, we didn't reach the goal. So what you find is the strongest ones go to the back and push forward the other ones. And this idea of a class ID, we're all together in this, gives us a sense of pride that something is going on that's bigger than me. So again, if I can decide on a SMART goal for my class, I want to share it with my class so I get maximum cooperation. I believe in you, class. I want you to succeed. You can even push the classes against each other. Kids love cooperation. Okay, class, fourth grade 1 against fourth grade 2. Let's see who can win by the end of the month, reach this goal. Give them a sense of cooperation. It could be a competition. It could be a popcorn party. It could be a piece of chocolate. It could be something silly. It could be 5 points bonus on your next test. It doesn't have to be something that takes away from class time. We want to get the kids excited and we want them to have a sense of cooperation. We're all working on this together. Okay, I'm going to stop 1 second before I ask Israel if you have any comments. I'd like to ask you in the comments to write down one word that describes you. Just put that for me in the comment, one word that describes you. I'll stop sharing for a second, see if Israel has some wonderful things for me to answer, and we'll go forward from there.
We do have some questions. Emma, if you wanna read the questions, I think we do have 2 already.
Yeah, we have 2 questions. The first question is from Maria, and she wants to know, Gabby, how do you build a personal brand as an English tutor while staying authentic to yourself?
Excellent. Keep going.
And the second question is about the partnering between the students, and we're worried, won't strong students get bored when they're assigned to work with weaker ones?
Excellent. Excellent. So any more questions before I answer?
Just those 2.
There's a lot of people writing. We have words that describe them, and we have effective, helpful, friendly, caring, positive, proactive, patience, thanks, dedicated, excited, disciplined. This is what we got so far.
Excellent.
Brave. Gabby wrote brave. Gabby, you are brave.
All right, let's look at our questions and then we'll continue. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Israel. And thank you for everyone who put your word describing yourself. Give me more. So in terms of Maria's question, in terms of building a brand and still staying authentic as a tutor, anything that we're talking about in the classroom, Maria, you can do with yourself as a one-on-one tutor. It doesn't matter if I'm in front of a classroom with 40 students, 20 students, or I'm one-on-one. I want to be authentically me. Each one of us, just like our students, each one of us has something authentically beautiful about us. All the kids I've ever worked with always focus on the fact that I love cats. And I have cats in my animated videos, and I have cats in my books. Emma's smiling, of course I have cats. There's cats everywhere because I love cats. So they know that. All the kids I work with also know hamburger is my favorite food. They know me as a person. They can connect to Gabi as a person, and then we do the work together. So as a private tutor or a tutor in the classroom, you will build your brand. You will build who you are only by being authentic and doing what you do best. If you know how to build digital games, use digital games in the classroom. By the way, Israel will post for you our digital game group. We have free digital games that we share with teachers all the time. I do digital games. That's one of my signatures. Figure out what's your signature, what's your strong point. If it's through music, my husband learned English only through music. Figure out what's your strong point, what you want to use. I'll tell you this. As a private tutor, as a teacher in the classroom, and also going to the question about the kids being bored, anyone who is bored is miserable. Anyone who is bored in education will not want to be there. So if you're bored, find what excites you. Do a program that excites you. That's why we created our program, so teachers have a great time as well. Find something that excites you. Bring music to your classroom, bring art into the classroom, do whatever you need to do to become an English teacher and have fun. In terms of the kids, I'm moving to the second question. They will not be bored if they're given a sense of pride. If I say, Emma, I'm pairing you now with Sveta, and your job is for Sveta to succeed. Emma, I believe in you and your ability to help Sveta succeed. Sveta, I believe in you and your ability to get something awesome out of this relationship. If there's a sense of pride, if there's a goal, again, we want to set for them a goal, not just here, go babysit. I want Emma to know, I want Sveta to be able to read these 6 letters. I want Sveta to be able to do whatever. If you are feeling a sense of accomplishment, no matter what you're doing in life, you will not be bored. Okay, if I have a sink full of dishes and my goal is to get the sink clear, and every dish that I put in the dishwasher, every dish that I clean gets me closer to my goal, and then I step back and I say, I have achieved, I have earned a sense of success inside, which deems me successful, and I will seek more experiences that make me feel successful. Another thing is, I wouldn't just put the strong students with the weakest students. I'd also put some of my weaker ones with younger students. And then you can put the stronger ones in smaller groups and challenge them. Okay, I don't want to waste all of the potential of the ones who want to advance and are good in English just doing tutoring. You want to have stations, you want to have days, you want to break it up so it's exciting. Maybe Monday and Wednesday I'm in the tutoring group, and Tuesday and Thursday I'm in the learning group. Strongly believe in station learning, gamification. Make it interesting for the teacher, make it interesting for the students. Israel, Emma, anything else before I go on?
No, just a few more description, diligent and positive. If
Excellent.
you have any questions, please write it down, because this is
Excellent.
part of whatever we do. Okay, Gabi, you can
Excellent.
continue. Yes.
All right, I'm continuing. So another thing that we talked about a little bit last time, and I think is important for today, is the idea of creating class systems, rules, and traditions. Okay. When we have traditions, every religion has their traditions. There's holidays, there's events, there's places of worship, there's traditions, there's ways I act when I enter my grandmother's house versus how I act if I enter the library or if I enter my friend's house. There are traditions. Maybe in this friend's house, you take your shoes off at the door. Maybe in my grandmother's house, we all run and hug our grandmother the second I walk in the door. Maybe there's always certain smells, certain things in my culture that will be in my grandmother's house that are part of what I've gotten used to, what I expect when I enter this situation. Also in my classroom, I want to create traditions that make the kids feel safe and recognize this is what happens when I enter Miriam's classroom. This is what happens when in Nareen's class. And it's part of what we talked about in Dubai in the conference. It was the mother of all mother tongues. Mother tongue is what makes me feel safe, what makes me feel at home. It's not necessarily L1, it can be, but mother tongue is also the things that make me feel comfortable. And It's hard in a classroom of so many kids to make everyone comfortable. But when we have traditions and rules and systems in place, it brings some order to the natural chaos that happens when you stick a lot of people in one room. Okay, chaos happens. It's part of entropy. It's part of the law of nature. But our job is to create something that will keep us as sane and functional as possible. I recommend creating with your classes traditions. And it doesn't necessarily have to be teacher tells the students. It could be something we create together in which I can tell my students, all right, what traditions would you like to have in our classroom that mark, and I'm moving a second, that mark the beginning, middle, and end of our class time. Okay, traditions create a central focus in our classroom. I want a beginning, a middle, and end of my class session. So I might tell the students, we start each class period by saying 1, 2, 3, 4, who's at the door, English time, whatever, I just made that up. It could be everyone, right hand up, left hand up, turn, 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 let's learn. It doesn't matter what it is. I want to create something that gets my kids in focus mode, that gets my kids focused on English learning. Also in the middle of the class, I really love it. I'm going to turn off the share so you can see me. I really love it when our students when we put a timer in class and we say, oh, the timer has rang. It's the middle of class. Let's organize ourselves again. It could be again, right up, hand down, turn around, English time, whatever. Let's learn. Anything I can create artificial that makes my kids focus again. It could be a 1 minute, everyone. Take your piece of paper and write down a word that describes how you feel. Move on and then continue class. It just could be a check-in with themselves. It could be, we talk about this a lot in single-mindedness, that you tell the kids, take your pen or your pencil, hold it in your hand. Everyone, notice how it feels on your fingers. Notice the temperature of your pen. Notice how all the parts feel. Are some of them warmer than others? Are some of them softer than others? How does it feel on your lip? Excellent. 3, 2, 1. Go back to the lesson. Anything we do that brings the kids into single-minded focus, and then we can continue. End of the class as well. I really love it at the end of a class where we tell the students something small to sum up our class. It could be, everyone clap your hands, you did great today. Have a wonderful day. Doesn't matter. Maybe you've seen the teachers that stand outside the front door and do the hand slaps with each kid. There's like that handshake they give for each individual student. It takes a minute and it makes each kid know I'm seen. This is a tradition. I'm in class. Anything like that that can help us focus our kids. So again, I suggest think about it. You can bring it up with your students as well. Tradition for the beginning, middle, and end of class. I always have teachers say, but I don't have enough time. I'm not getting the material done. How are you giving me more things to do in class? I'm not making the curriculum as is. But if you take a minute, you take 5 minutes out of class to do a 1 minute and a minute and a half tradition in the beginning, minute and a half in the middle, minute and a half in the end, you will find that the time you teach is much more effective and you'll get a lot more done in your class time. Before I go on, I want to ask you to go to the chat, write down one thing that you like so far, one tool, one thing that you say, okay, I think I'll take this. Okay, I think I'll use this. I'll think about it. Anything from our talk so far that you say, I'm going to take this as a food for thought. Okay, I'm going to stop a second. I could talk nonstop. I really want to give you guys a chance to be sure I'm giving you what you need. Excellent. I'm looking at the chat. Tell me one thing you're taking with you. One thing you're taking with you. Get a pencil, explore it, feel it. I love it. Anything else? Could be a breathing exercise, traditions, wonderful. Focus time, excellent. Anything to bring us back. Excellent. Remember, guys, our minds, even though we think they're like a crazy, we call it in Buddhism the chattering monkey. It's also only can contain one piece of information at a time. So if I'm humming, if I take my class and say, I got everyone paying attention to me. How long did that take? 10 seconds? Let's go. That's it. Very easy. Wonderful. Children can be encouraged. Excellent. If it's a question, they'll do it. Excellent. Get to know them as a person. Be active, helping kids, helping kids. Wonderful. Wonderful. Motivation, extend. I try to meditate with my kid. It didn't work. Rafaela, it won't work in a crazy classroom. It'll work if you get them set up for it. If you say, guys, I have a treat for you. I want to ask you to be quiet for 3 minutes. Or start slow. I want to ask you to be quiet for 30 seconds. A lot of kids cannot do meditation because it's foreign to them and it's kind of intimidating. What am I, I could close my eyes? But you could do an active meditation. You could do this kind of meditation. This is a meditation right there. Watch my hands. That's a meditation. Watch your fingers. Let's feel our fingers. Excellent. That's a meditation. Doodling on a piece of paper, that's a meditation. It could be take your tongue and just feel the inside of your mouth. That's a meditation. It doesn't have to be close your eyes and be Buddha. Anything could be meditative if it brings the kid back to themselves. Excellent. All right. Any questions before I go on? Israel or Emma, I think I see some questions you want to read to me.
Yeah, Emma, please, we have the very long one.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions from Natalia. First, she wants to, sorry, I hope you guys can hear me. Do you believe it's possible to teach English as a second language to children primarily through exposure and sentence patterns without focusing on grammar rules and phonics? This is considering, you know, that children in Israel don't have many hours, only a couple hours a week of English classes per week when they start learning in third grade. And then a follow-up question from Natalia is, to what extent do you think children should be encouraged to work at home to support their language learning?
Excellent. Excellent. So thank you so much. So let me answer that, and then we'll have a little bit more time for the end of the webinar. Any last
There are a
questions? Or we're
couple
done?
more questions if you want to write down.
Okay. Tell me. Yes. So I'm going to write down, that was from Natalia,
The
right?
last two messages at the end, Emma.
Yeah, does everything you're talking about apply to high school students as well? And can you please refer to JHS? And then the last question is, can you provide examples of quote unquote the middle activities that you were describing, you know, the beginning, middle, and end?
Excellent. Excellent. Oh, thank you so much for being here, guys. It makes it really exciting for me when we're in this together. Thank you so much, Emma. Yes, you see me. Okay. So first of all, in terms of Natalia, your question, you're teaching third grade. You should check out our new third grade textbook. I think you'll enjoy it. There is no reason at all to teach the children grammar. In third grade as an EFL country, there's no reason at all to start with grammar. We want to start with auditory understanding. We want the kids to understand the sound of the language. We're not talking about grammar at all. I can tell him, I sit, he sits. I can use English correctly, but I don't have to start teaching them grammar structure. I can tell them, the pen is on my hand. The pen is on my head. The pen is on the computer. I can use English correctly, but I'm not teaching them grammar structures. I don't even think third graders know grammar structures in their native language. So no need at all. We teach them auditory English. We teach them using L1 in combination with the new language. We're integrating the new language into their mother tongue using a good program that you enjoy. Do not worry at all about grammar. Once they have a clear foundation understanding English, which I think is excellent through games, digital games, board games, songs, once they learn through chants, once they learn the sound of the English, they love English, English is fun, then you start doing the letters and the reading, and then later they'll get into grammar. They'll have an ear for it already. It's very important that when you speak to them in English, speak correctly. They don't have to understand everything, but they have to hear it correctly. Okay, that's that. In terms of high school, middle school, yes, all of this is exactly the same for all kids. If I'm teaching adult education, it's the same thing. What can I do to focus my class in the beginning, middle, end? What can I help my students do? What can I do to help my students empower them to feel successful? How can I reach goals? It's the same if I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to discipline my kids, I'm trying to teach kindergarten or high school or adults. The exact same rules. Behavioral psychology, one of the beautiful things about behavioral psychology, it applies to everything. Applies to everything in every situation because it's just how human beings behave. And if I can figure out how to motivate human beings, which I want to talk about now, if I can figure out how to motivate people, then it's the same for everyone. Example of the middle activity, anything. We just did this. This could be a middle activity. The bell rang. This is the middle of our class. I know. We can do that and then write down 3 words on your paper that describe how you feel, move on. Anything that refocuses us is what we want. Okay? I want to talk a second about motivation because I feel like there's so much more to talk about, but I want to talk a second about motivation because motivation is the key to getting anyone to do anything. Motivation is what keeps us alive. You know, it's in our evolution, it's in our DNA. How can I get food? How do I reproduce? How do I stop the lion? How do I prevent the lion from eating me? Motivation is what keeps us alive. We want our kids to be motivated to study. First of all, English is cool. It's not hard for the kids to see that. Anyone that has access to the internet sees that English is very, very cool. We want them to see that English is cool. How do I help them see that English is cool? Put some songs on, play some games, do anything that shows them that they want to learn this because it's going to help them if they want to communicate with someone on the internet, if they want to go travel, you know, anything in English is going to help them in anything in life. English is just, it's not hard to convince kids to learn English because it's important and it's fun. But what's important that we understand, there are 3 factors that are really important in motivation. And I'd like to tell you a short story that helps you understand where this is from, because I think you'll remember my story probably more than anything else you remember from tonight. And then I'll talk about the 3 C's of motivation. So when I did my master's, I had to do a master's project. And in my project, I found out that there were 3 geriatric homes. There were 3 old age homes in the United States that had the old people lived 10 to 15 years longer than other old age homes around the country. So the longevity, the lifespan of these people was 10 to 15 years longer than the average for the country. And that's a big deal. And fortunate enough, I lived in Houston, and one of those 3 old age homes were in Dallas. I'm telling you all the details because I'm telling you this is probably the one thing you'll remember most from my lecture. So I went to the old age home to find out what was going on, what was happening in that old age home that made the people have the motivation to live 10 to 15 years more than the rest of the old people in the country. And I found some fascinating things. First of all, every room in the old age home, in the geriatrics home, had plants, and the staff were not allowed to take care of the plants at all. So all the residents at the old age home had to get out of bed in their wheelchair or with their walker and water the plant themselves. They had to open the shutters so the plant gets enough light. If there was something dead on the plant, they had to do it. They were needed. They were needed. I have a reason to get up because I'm contributing. That's one of our 3 C's. Contribution. They were contributing. Someone needed them to get up in the morning and do something. There was a reason that they were alive. There's someone needed them. Another thing, they had cats and dogs all over the old age home. And guess what? None of the staff walked the dogs. None of the staff fed the cats. None of them changed their water. It was the residents' responsibility to take care of the animals. So again, it's a sense of contribution. I I am needed. I need to get up and take the dog for a walk so he'll pee. I need to put food in the I need to put cat food in the cat's jar. I am needed, and therefore I have a sense of contribution. It's a big deal to know that I contribute. That's why we talked about mentorship. That's why we talk about class goals and class celebration and community in the classroom, because I have a sense of contribution. I'm going to help my class succeed. All of us have done this. You know, the kids are collecting cans for this, or collecting money for this. We all do it together. So contribution, the old people at the old age home were contributing to something that was important to them. Another thing that was really important is the cats and dogs slept in the beds with people. When you get old, a lot of times there's not anyone there to hold your hand and pet you, and you don't no longer have maybe your kids around you and the affection and safety of your own home. So there's a sense, the second C was a sense of connection. They got to pet the animals, they got to have affection, they were connected to them, they felt a part of them, and connection is another big source of motivation for anyone. So if I feel connected, I feel a part of my classroom. If I don't feel like I belong, I don't care. But if I believe I belong in my classroom, I'm necessary. I'm part, even if I'm not popular, if I'm not cool, if I'm not smart, but I'm still seen. Namaste. I'm still connected to my classroom. It's going to give me a sense of motivation to want to be a part of it. And the third thing that
Gabby,
happened, yes.
sorry to stop you. You have 6 more minutes, 5 to be exact.
Okay.
And there's another question that you might want to refer to.
Excellent. Let me just finish the last C, and then I'll
Yes.
get to anything you want. I just needed to talk about motivation a little bit for you guys tonight. And the third thing is the people of the old age home, they weren't given the meals. They were allowed to choose if they wanted to have chicken or meat. Do they want rice or salad? Do they want soup or this? They had a menu they can choose. I'm not told, hey, you're old, I don't care about you, take what I give you. No. What would you like? Welcome. Do you want to eat at 8 a.m. or do you want to eat at 10 a.m.? Do you want to eat at, here or here? Do you want to eat this from the menu or this? So the third C is control. Remember this, if you're taking notes, motivation is based on the 3 C's: control, contribution, and connection. If I can give every one of my students a sense of a locus of control, a sense of contribution, a sense of connection, I will reduce the resistance to learning, and I'll probably get a lot more done in my classroom. All right, Isail, I'm done. Tell me my question, anything we need.
So it's about an opinion that discipline matters even more than motivation when it comes to learning. It teaches kids how to stick with it, and motivation often follows. What do you think?
That is such an interesting question. It's sort of like the chicken and the egg in a different way. If I succeed as a teacher in a classroom to create rules and regulations, and there is discipline, if there is support at home, if a student isn't listening to the discipline that I set and I tell them this is the consequence and a consequence will happen, and I have support from the principal or the system or the parents at home, discipline is the basis for creating anything. If I want to lose weight or eat healthy or learn a language, I need discipline. Yes. But unfortunately, what we're finding over and over and over again is our parents aren't functioning and they're not giving us the support we need. The system doesn't always give the teacher the backing they need. We have situations where students are disrespectful. Teachers are not given the support they need to get the discipline they need in class. And if you can create a tradition, a language, a system in which discipline is part of your classroom. Excellent. Oh my God. Never get rid of discipline. That's the basis of amazing growth. But if you don't have the support you need, if you say this 1, 2, 3 will happen, if you don't follow the rules, these are the consequences, and you don't have support to make that happen, you need to figure out other ways to get your kids to partner with you, not because you told them to, but because they want to. Okay, if you can create your own system of discipline and it works, please don't leave it. But if you can get the kids to partner with you so that you have something there in case you don't have the discipline tools you need to support you, then use what you got. Use what you've got to
So,
succeed.
Gabi, we're gonna have to summarize now. I think from the questions at the end, you hit a nerve there, and it might be something we wanna focus on. Next one, discipline and motivation. How do we create this dance between these two words?
Excellent
Um,
dance.
Yes. So sorry if there are more questions. You can always write to us, and we'll answer you guys through WhatsApp, email, whatever. You want to summarize quickly, Gabi? You want me to do that? Yeah.
I'm happy to say the last word and then you can as well. I wanted to bring your attention to the fact when I asked you to write down one trait that describes you, that's an activity in bringing you together. You felt you contributed. You felt that I see you. We read your comments out loud. Your opinion matters. It took a second of our time, but you felt, hey, and that's probably one of the things you'll remember most because you contributed to our seminar. When I ask you, write down a tool you're taking, that's a subconscious tool for help to help you be more motivated. Hey, I wrote down this tool. Now there's something in me that's more committed to see if I can make it happen. So the comments that you wrote in the session were really important for me for you to see that as an example of how you can do that in class with a piece of paper. Kids, stop right now. Write down 3 words that start with the letter B. Next, let's go back to class. Anything that gives us a singular focus and then go back to learning. I hope there's always more, but I think we touched upon the things that were important to look at from last time, which is the overstimulation that we have today and how we want to try to calm down all of our systems so we can study better. And I think we looked a little bit at empowerment, self-empowerment versus classroom empowerment. And we looked at some of the tools of motivation. Israel, the rest is for you. I hope you join us next time.
Thank you guys. Anyone who joined and stayed, we appreciate your presence here, and we hope you'll join us next webinar, which will take place on the 21st, I think, of May, 1 month from now. I just shared on the chat all the links. There's also a sign up for our next webinar. If you want to just do it now, that will be great. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. I'm going to sit and read your comments. Join us in the teacher sharing group. You can keep asking questions and I'll be there. Emma and Israel will keep being there to support you. And there's also a link for the digital games. If you teach younger learners, our program offers free digital games for all educators. So we'd love to have you.
Thank you very much. Have
Thank
a
you,
good night.
everyone.